From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Kayla Cockrell with today's Free Press Voice Briefing. It's Monday, April 10th, 2023. More than 90 employees at an Upper Peninsula paper mill are believed infected with a fungus found in soil and decaying wood, with about a dozen requiring hospitalization. Investigation of a blastomycosis outbreak at the Billerud paper mill in Escanaba is ongoing and involves local, state, and federal health and occupational safety officials. With nearly 900 employees, the Billerud Mill is the largest manufacturing employer and economic driver north of Midland in the state, according to the Michigan Economic Development Corporation. A blastomycosis outbreak affecting large numbers of people is highly unusual, as the fungal disease is not typically transferred from person to person. It indicates that instead, scores of employees were infected from the same materials containing the blastomyces fungal spores, which exist in the environment in the eastern U.S. and parts of Canada. According to the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention, people contract blastomycosis after breathing in microscopic fungal spores from the air, often after participating in activities that disturb the soil. Once inside the lungs, the body's warmth and moisture can transform the spores into yeast that can stay in the lungs or be transferred through the bloodstream to other parts of the body, including the skin, bones, joints, organs, brain, and spinal cord.
For the Detroit Free Press, I'm Kristen Shamus with news about research out of the University of Michigan that reveals just how deep the state's nursing shortage has become. As many as 4 in 10 licensed nurses in Michigan say they plan to quit their jobs in the next year. And 59% of the state's youngest nurses, those younger than 25, said they plan to leave their job. That's according to a new study published in the journal Medical Care that surveyed more than 9,000 licensed Michigan nurses and about 1,200 who left their jobs in the last 2 years. Of them, 84% said they were emotionally exhausted, and 60% said their workplaces have inadequate staffing and resources. And that means that they feel like they can't provide adequate care to their patients. Safety and workplace violence also ranked high on the list of concerns. 43% of nurses reported emotional abuse on the job. 26% reported workplace bullying. 10% reported sexual abuse, and 22% reported physical abuse.
This is Phoebe Wall-Howard, an automotive reporter at the Detroit Free Press. In early February, on the other side of the world, a major earthquake collapsed buildings that crushed thousands of people in Turkey and Syria. A trained search and rescue team, made up of Ford Motor Company workers, raced to disaster sites to aid victims, and now the automaker is playing a key role in recovery. They're working on bringing in new housing after spending weeks of pulling the living and the dead from beneath rubble. Bill Ford said this is a top priority. His family has been involved in Turkey and Turkish business with Ford Otosan for decades.
You know, when I think about I don't know how many years it's been in Ford, I guess my whole lifetime, it's always about the extraordinary people I've met. It's not about any particular vehicle or any particular plant or any particular piece of machinery or office building. It's always about the extraordinary people.
I'm Kirkland Crawford with the Free Press Sports Department, wrapping up another dismal Detroit Pistons season with some change already in effect. The Pistons finished the 2022-23 season with a 103-81 loss at Chicago, but that's not the story. The big story is that right after the game, head coach Dwayne Casey announced that he was stepping down as head coach. For the last 5 seasons, Dwayne Casey has been the leader of the Detroit Pistons, but after only 1 playoff appearance and this past season, in which the Pistons were the worst team in the NBA, Casey has moved on and will now take a front office job within the organization. The question now becomes, who will lead the Pistons for the foreseeable future? Troy Weaver has a big decision to make with this offseason coming up, Cade Cunningham coming back from injury, and potentially as high as the number 1 overall pick at their disposal. Among the names rumored to be in contention is Ime Udoka, who last season was the rookie head coach of the Boston Celtics that got all the way to the NBA Finals, but is currently out of a job after a scandal with an inter-office relationship this past season pushed him out of Beantown.
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com.